All right, so on today's episode, we talk about what could be one of the coolest ladders you've ever seen and what turned out to be, in the end, an amazing Father's Day gift that I gave to my dad. It can be especially hard buying gifts for people because you never know if they're gonna like it. You know, typically I try to get car parts or something like that for my dad because he's a car guy, but it can be really hard to pick out car parts because you never know somebody's build, especially if you're trying to surprise them. Of course, it's always easy to ask and then you can get him a gift, but that takes out the surprise element. So this time I tried to be a little bit more creative. He's retired, he's gonna be spending more time out there now and working on his projects. I noticed that he spends way too much time at the top of a ladder for someone his age. So I decided he needed a little bit safer ladder, heavier duty ladder for some of his projects. So I spent a lot of time scouring Facebook Marketplace looking for a ladder. And I ended up finding two ladders that could be potential candidates. This is where the story gets a little bit crazy. So I ended up finding two ladders. I set up an appointment to go pick up the first ladder. And then I found the second ladder. I sent a message. The second ladder was a much better deal, about, I don't know, $80 less. It was a really, really good deal, but they didn't answer. So I ended up having to go with the more expensive ladder. I set up my appointment and I'm on the way to pick up the ladder. And of course I get a message for the better, cheaper ladder. And so I immediately set up the pickup for that one, canceled the pickup that I was already on the way for. And then I had to drive in the opposite direction like another hour just to go get the cheaper ladder. I get the cheaper ladder and it turns out there's a reason why it's cheaper, which you'll see here. So this ladder, of course, is cheaper because the gel coat was a little bit destroyed from the sun. So it's obviously sat outside for a while. You can start to feel it's a little bit rough and like that fiberglass can get in your skin. It can get itchy and get irritating. So I'm like, what am I gonna do? Now that I just picked up this ladder, it's barely usable even though it was cheaper. So cheaper is not always the best option. But what can I do? So then I got thinking and I'm like, wait. I have a large format printer. I can print vinyl and put it on there. I've never applied vinyl to anything in the past. So I'm like, this could be a perfect project to try to apply vinyl and I'll see what it turns out like. Firstly, I actually took measurements. I took measurements of it. I found my file, printed my file, and then cut my file and brought it out in applicable strips. Basically, strips that are usable for the size of the ladder so that I could apply them. So before I applied the vinyl, of course, I cleaned up the ladder, cleaned up every inch. It was filthy and vinyl's not gonna stick to a dirty surface. So I went ahead, cleaned it up, got it ready, and started applying it. print shop and we have a large format printer. It's a HP Latex L630. It's not the white option. It can print a lot of things, and I've been using it for printing vinyl and stickers, etc., things like that for my business, but I've never actually applied any vinyl that we printed before. So I found out one major mistake is I printed on calendared vinyl, and that is nothing like cast vinyl. Cast vinyl is what you need. That forms really well when you're attaching it to something that's not flat. Calendar vinyl works really well when it's a flat object that you don't really expect it to take the shape of the object that you're applying it to, as long as it's flat. So we use calendar vinyl all the time because we're just applying things to flat surfaces. In this situation, cast vinyl would have worked great. You'll see it in some of the clips here. There's a lot of wrinkles over the rivets and things like that. Of course, I didn't use any heat, and temperature was like, I don't know, 50, 60 degrees outside when I applied this. But I think in the end it turned out. I guess you can be the judge. So at the end of the day, I think it turned out great. I'm really happy with the result. I know it's not perfect. This was my first time really applying vinyl to something, and I had the wrong type of vinyl to apply. I just made what I had available work. So for that fact, I'm proud that I was able to overcome a situation, still provide a gift that I thought was thoughtful. It's even nice that I was able to put a little bit extra effort into it. I think the effort that goes into the gift shows how much somebody cares about you. It's not necessarily about the gift or the value of the gift, but where the thought and where your heart was with the gift. We will see you guys on the next one.